Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Let's get down to the meats and potatoes of this police brutality and cameras on cops situation. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about the cameras on cop thing. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. The good thing is, it'll keep, most likely for the most part, keep the officer, in order, and also keep the person that the officer is dealing with in order. And we shouldn't have a situation where somebody should lose their life on a higher scale, because let's face it, things are going to happen regardless. When somebody's ready to do something, most of the time on a civilian side, if they really want to take it there with an officer, they're really going to take it there. But I made this video in this blog to really talk about the cons of the camera and how I feel about police brutality and the way society looks at police. The cons to those cameras that I don't like is that now I think officers are going to be forced to act like robots. Let's be real. Once those cameras come into play, they should be running the whole time while the officers working. I don't think it should be like state troopers when they cut it on when they pull you over, because in the inner city, that's in most places where there's a high crime, things happen at the drop of a dime. So I'm quite sure that some things they're going to talk about in reference to cameras on cops. And also when officers come inside your home, you still have a right to privacy. And then what's going to happen is maybe in the future, certain things are going to happen inside the home and people are going to be losing their life in reference to, incidents with the police, and people are going to want to know. So right now, if they do implement that, the cameras on cops, if they really talking about protecting people's lives, they might as well have the cameras on, the whole time while they working, and just nip all this in the bud, and that way you can just change some laws and have them where they can actually come inside the home. If the police are called to the location, that the officers have to let them know that I'm being recorded and I'm coming into your home. So, and it has to be agreed upon, before they actually even, come into the home. Because unfortunately, that's going to be a big issue for, a lot of people. Police brutality. Every case where you see police officers dealing with people, because of the way society is now, it looks bad. Even if it's a situation where the officer has to use force because of the other individual, it just looks bad when the police officer do it, and that's something that we have to check. I mean, we can watch MMA fights all day long. We can watch YouTube videos, go on World Star, watch fights all day long and be entertained by it. But the minute you see a fight, and then just switch it, and then the individual has on a uniform and fighting, then it's an issue. Your whole perception changes about, violence. My issue is that people have this perception now that, to me, they don't need police. People think that they can break laws. People think they can do a lot of things that they shouldn't do, and they think that the officers nowadays are supposed to react. Because, I mean, look at it. You seeing a lot more people post videos now, and basically starting, media is the problem. You have people right now actually video recording and approaching officers and starting situations with them to try to fuel them into doing something that they can actually catch them on camera for, to get their whole little 2 minutes of fame online. Just borrowing lawful. So it's bad enough they actually have to patrol areas where, they're not respected for the most part. You have that situation going on, and we still have that disconnection in between the police department and the public. And that's the main issue right there. I don't really think that cameras on cops it's really going to change a whole lot of stuff that goes on when it comes to police brutality or situations where an officer have to use force. Because sometimes, let's be real, you watch a video and you guys are not educated on a lot of things. Okay, let me just tell y'all this. Let me get this one myth out of y'all way. When you see an individual that goes like this, an officer tries to arrest them and they go like this, what did I do? 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 And they still got their hands up. This is not a sign of surrender, and that person is not a threat. Basically, what this called is passive resistance. Passive resistance, yeah, I'm not putting up a fight, but I'm still not letting the officer arrest me, because I'm just going to keep my hands up like this and say, what did I do? What did I do? Now, people on the outside who don't know no better, all they see is the guy saying, I got my hands up. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I mean, at the end of the day, once the officer places you in custody, I mean, he should let you know what you're being arrested for. I mean, I don't think that the officer should have to tell you what it is you're being arrested for, like just before he put the cuffs on you. But right after when he put the cuffs on you, he should be able to tell you what you was arrested for, or you should be informed of what you're being arrested for. Because sometimes you don't need to know. You know, some people got that fight or flight syndrome. If I tell you I'm locking you up, you know, I done walked in front of you because you committed murder, and that rattles in your head that, oh, he knows. I don't think, if I already know I'm going to do time when you got me, I don't think I want to put you in cuffs. I think I want to take that chance to fight or flight. You know, I think I want to just run away. I just don't want to let you put me in cuffs and send me to jail for 25 years because, you know, that's what I'm being arrested for. But I don't think I want to do that. So I don't think all the time when an officer approach somebody and tell them information that they have to inform them right away, instantly, what they're being arrested for. After they place them in cuffs, they should be able to tell them what they're being arrested for, but not in the beginning for the person to decide if they want to be arrested or not. And then also, what also kills me about this police brutality situation, every time an officer shoots someone and a life is lost, everybody comes out the woodworks and they want to bash, you know, the police. They all in the media and they talking everything. They saying a lot of things like, you know, a guy's life is not valuable. Police doing whatever they want, things of that nature. But this is my question that I have also. I'm quite sure before that officer shot that individual, okay, and that person died, why did you come out and you step out in front of public and you speak about the wrongdoing only when it comes to law enforcement? Why don't you do that with the regular crime that goes on in your neighborhood? You know, the black on black crime that happens in your neighborhood, you know, the violence that goes on in your neighborhood. Why don't you come out and march for that? Why don't you come out and protest for that? You know, why do you guys don't do that? It seems to me that you are numb to a lot of crime in your neighborhood, and you don't want to say anything, and you keep your mouth shut. You go back and forth to work, you close your eyes, you hide, and then you hear the stories that go on in the neighborhood, and then you shake your head about some young kid dying through violence and drugs, and then another kid dying through violence and drugs, and there's no uproar, there's no riot, there's no people, you know, come in and say anything. You know why? Because you play a part in that. That Ferguson situation with that police officer, guess what? We all play a part in that. Because of the relationship between law enforcement and the community. There's a big gap there. Everybody plays a part in it. The same people that come out and want to cheer for, you know, and want to cheer, want to rant, and want to go, yeah, justice for this individual, justice for Mike Brown and everybody else that died by the hands of a law enforcement officer. That same type of energy should have been put forth when it's crime in your neighborhood. You know, y'all, it seems like to me, y'all, this society now in this world in the United States is so geared by a machine that causes a majority of the stuff that goes on. It's the media. Okay, yeah, there's corruption in any type of business or job that you go into, not just police in general. Because I'm just trying to let you guys understand, stop trying to think that police are these superhuman emotional beings that you know, that never do wrong and they always on the right path. You know that's not true. They're human just like you. They're entitled to error just like you. And each officer needs to be treated differently. You know, the same way how, you know, Martin Luther King, you know, don't judge a man by his skin, judge him by the content of his character. The same way in law enforcement. You don't judge an officer by his uniform. You judge him by the content of his character and the way he deals with the public. That's how you have to do it. But for some reason, the roles have been flipped. When I was young, police were looked at as the good guy. Drug dealers, killers, murderers, bad guys. But now, it seems like the role has switched. Cops, bad guys, criminals, good guys. That's what it seems to be to me. And I want to know, why is that? Because I could speak about the criminals, drugs, a lot of things change in the certain communities. Your nephew hustles, your nephew out there in the streets, your relative out there in the streets, somebody in your family, so it makes you, more comfortable. Law enforcement, they have to go out. Nobody wants to deal with anybody that just comes up and harass them. Nobody likes authority nowadays. People feel as though they can do what they want to do. Everybody's above the law, just because, let's say, for example, if it's a red light, the light says red, you're not supposed to run that light. But because you got to go to the bathroom, you run the light because your house is right there on the corner. If an officer see you blow that light and he pulls you over, you tell the officer, well, I had to go to the bathroom, that's why I ran the light. Okay, and the officer decides to give you a ticket. You want to argue the point why you got a ticket. You only was going to the bathroom, you ain't want to pee on yourself. The fact of the matter is that it was a law. It was broken. The officer decided to give you a ticket. Take the ticket. You were wrong. Don't argue the point, because at the end of the day, whether you had to go to the bathroom, whether you didn't have to go to the bathroom, the fact of the matter is that you broke the law. So you should take that. But this whole story in reference to this police brutality and cameras is going to keep going. It's going to keep on going, and I'm really not for I'm for the cameras, but I'm really not for them. But unfortunately, it looks like the way things are going with all this media hype, that we're actually going to go into a society of using cameras. Okay, so get ready, because to me, having cameras on cops and having cameras everywhere around is just opening up a new evil to me, in my personal opinion, because now you're going to be being watched almost, maybe more than 50% of your life. You're going to be being watched constantly. And don't forget, when you actually have cameras and things of that nature, and it's scanning, the same way how your phone can do face recognition, that's from your phone, what they allow the public to have. Now imagine what they have. So now, when you got the face recognition going on, you're going to be being scanned and everything about you. When they want to know where you're at, they're going to find out where you're at. And I know what some people saying, that you have no need to hide, that there's no reason to hide. But to me, mankind is already evil enough. Mankind is already evil enough. I mean, if this world, United States alone can be a safer and better place, but there's too much greed. There's too many people that don't want to take responsibility and do the right thing, from the bottom people all the way to the top. Nobody wants to be a good person. Everybody always got greed on their hand. Everybody's always worried about self. So those things are always taken into play, because they've been like that since the beginning of time. So these issues that we're arguing about is really never going to change. Right now, this is just a wave of heat, because everybody's throwing police this and police that all through the media. Police is the bad guy, police brutality, this person. And what's happened is that people are being fueled by this. And if you notice from all these new video footages coming up, officers are being challenged 24/7, even for the littlest things. Even for the littlest things, officers can be completely justified in stopping somebody and approaching them, and they got to get a whole spiel and speech on, why are you stopping me? And the person knows that, but they got the camera on, because now they want to get video footage. They're feeding into all the hype, and that's what's going on right now. But it seems to me that society right now is asking for cameras to be put everywhere. So be prepared for what you ask for, because I don't know what new laws are going to come into play when the cameras come in. I don't know what type of new, when they revamp law enforcement and have officers act a certain way, which most likely I feel as though they're going to start having them act more like robots. They're going to have to act more like robots. They can't be compassionate. It's already close to that anyway. So they can't be compassionate in reference to certain situations. They're going to have to be a certain way at all times, because they're government employees and they have to stay on a professional level and stay like that all the time. And sometimes you don't need an officer to be on a professional level. You know, sometimes the officer needs to know certain situations to come out of character a little bit to achieve the goal without committing any crimes. And sometimes you got to come out of character on certain situations, because in certain situations, people already know what police officers are going to do. So they're already mentally prepared for it. So anything that officer do that's in the scope of his duty, they're already going to rebel against it anyway. But if an officer knows how to be creative without breaking the law to actually get that person to do the right thing, if you run across an officer that's creative like that, them guys are going to have to get up out of here. They are no longer going to be able to do that, because now they're going to open themselves up, or open the department up to complaints and, possibly, a lawsuit because of the way a person feels about a certain situation. So this is going to be very interesting. So please, I don't want to get all into, too much detail with these blogs. They go too long. So feel free to comment, if you have any questions or your point of views in reference to cameras on cops and police brutality. And then also follow me on Facebook. Yeah, Flesh927. You can follow me on Facebook, and if you're looking at this through YouTube, you can follow my YouTube page, Flesh927. All right, and I'll see you on my next blog.